Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel and to our coffee times together. So today you want to grab your mug of coffee but also your pen, because I am here to let you know some books are coming out in the month of March that I am excited about.
It's coffee time!
So I have made a list of 12 things that are coming out in March that I am, for one reason or another, a little bit more interested in. So let's check them out. So first, let's start with the 3rd of March, because there are many releases in the 3rd of March. The first one is actually the beginning of a YA fantasy series by an author that I have still not read any books from, but I want to, and that is Rin Chupeco. She wrote The Bone Witch, and I really want to read it. I have it on my TBR pile for 2020, but she's coming up with a new fantasy series and it just looks so good to me, and that is Wicked As You Wish. And this is number 1 of 100 Names for Magic. So we are here, you know, in a situation where there is this kingdom and it has been totally demolished by an evil queen, and one of the members of the royal family from this kingdom had escaped, and he is the prince, and he is hiding somewhere so nobody knows about his identity, because else he would be killed. I mean, it's kind of like a regular premise in a way, but I'm still excited about it. Another one that's coming out on the 3rd of March, and for all of you fans of science fiction, this is adult sci-fi, and it sounds just so good. It is The Companions by Katie M. Flynn, and this is basically, there is a virus that spreads in California and people are being put in quarantine, but the living cannot go out, but the dead start to be able to come in. So some people, before they die, if they are rich, they kind of pay for their consciousness to be put in this program, to be uploaded into some sort of program so that they can keep protecting their families, something like that. But it sounds extremely interesting, so if you're looking for a new sci-fi, this might be one that you want to be looking out for. On the 3rd of March, we have a YA thriller, but that sounds really good, and that is The June Boys by Kurt Stevens. So it is about this Gemini thief that apparently every year he kind of kidnaps 3 boys for 13 months, but he always, after, you know, he experiments or does whatever he does with his boys, he always brings them back you know, healthy and normal. But then one year something happens and one of the boys appears dead. So yeah, it sounds really intriguing. Also on the 3rd of March, like I said, a lot of releases in this day. We have a YA contemporary that sounds really interesting to me. It's called Be Not Far From Me by Mindy McGinnis, and what I like about this is that we're following a group of teenagers that go into the woods, and one night I think this girl sees her boyfriend with somebody else or cheating on her or something, and so she kind of storms out into the woods and she gets lost. She trips and falls, gets lost, wakes up the next morning, she's completely alone and has to survive. So that sounds really interesting to me. I have not been lucky on finding books that has this kind of premise that I really enjoy, but I do love stories of survival in the woods, so we'll see if this one is a good one. Another thriller coming out on the 3rd of March, and this one is an adult thriller that sounds so good because it has to do with a bookstore. We love books about bookstores, and it is called 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. So the owner of this bookstore, he has made his own list of the best ingenious, like super great crimes committed in books, and one day he receives, you know, the visit of the FBI, and he's being questioned for murders because apparently somebody has taken that list and is killing people that way, something like that. And I was like, this sounds like I really want to read this thriller. Then I have a mention of just 2 Warhammer Horror books. The first one is Sepulturum by Nick Kime, and it's just a nightmare Warhammer Horror, and it's set on the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And the second one is a collection of short stories, and it's called Anathemas by David Annandale, and it is a 3rd Warhammer Horror anthology. So if you're interested in these titles because you've been following them, then they're coming also on the 3rd of March. On the 5th of March, I have one of my most anticipated horror releases of 2020. We have The Deep by Alma Katz. So this is adult horror but you need to think that something or someone is hunting the Titanic. People are disappearing, things are killing things, and it just sounds so good to me. And I love a good horror story that has to do with the sea, and I am so excited about this one. I hope to be able to get a copy soon so that I can read it, because like I said, this is one of the adult horrors that I was most excited about for 2020. On the 10th of March, we have a book called Harley in the Sky by Akemi Dawn Bowman, and this is a YA contemporary. I have the 2 other books by this author that she has published so far. She published Starfish, and I think this, like, the other one was called Bluebird. I have those because I've heard people talking so good about them, but I still have not read them. However, I also want to get this one because it has to do with a girl. It's a YA book, but it has to do with this girl whose family doesn't want her to work in the circus, but that's all she wants to do. So she decides to join the circus, and I love stories that have to do with the circus, like a lot. And this is going to be probably a hard-hitting contemporary because that's what the author tends to write about. So I am so intrigued for this one. On the 31st of March, if you want more sci-fi adult books, and this one has to do with a spaceship, we have Providence by Max Barry, in which there is a spaceship that is being sent to try to protect Earth from one of their bigger threats. So I'm expecting a great science fiction story here, and if you're looking for some sci-fi for 2020, you might want to check this one out. On the 31st of March as well, we have one that I am really interested about. It is a YA fantasy, but it's called The Sisters Grimm by Mena van Praag. And I don't know if it has really to do with the, Brother Grimm's fairy tales, but it's about these 13 girls that have all of these powers, but at some point they have been separated, and apparently after many years of being apart, they kind of find each other again. So I don't know. I am really, considering getting this one this year to, read some fantasy YA. I don't want to read as much as I read last year, but this is definitely a title that I am really interested about. And the last one is an adult thriller that sounds also really good. Comes out also on the 31st of March, and it's called The Familiar Dark by Amy Engel. And apparently we're living in a town where crime is something normal. The police are kind of corrupt, so everybody, can be blamed for a lot of stuff. Like, nobody is really innocent apparently in this town. And then there is this kid that disappears and turns up dead. So the mother of this little girl is, starting to probably do her own investigation to figure out what happened. Yeah, so I'm really intrigued about this one as well. I love thrillers that have to do with small towns and a lot of secrets and corruption and all of that. It just gives me life. And these were all the books that I wanted to talk to you about. Some of these book releases for March. We have some fantasy, some horror, some sci-fi, so I hope that you found something that you're interested in. Let me know down below if there's anything that I have not mentioned that is coming out in March that you think I might enjoy. Let me know in the comments down below. And before you leave, remember to please give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more coffee times with me. If you want to follow me to the social media, the links are in the description box down below as always, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!